What's up guys, it's Tyler from House of Cards TCG and I'm bringing you my deck profile. We were pre-testing Cyberstorm Access and we were able to print out some proxy cards and we were able to test with a lot of Pearly, Super Heavy Samurai, different things like that against a lot of my guys that we play with locally and my team members that we play competitively. And I went and brought a Bystial Adventure Control Synchro style deck. I know that a lot of people have been piloting these 60 card mashups, but I was able to condense it to 45 cards. The deck played incredibly well, and so I wanted to bring you the deck profile so you can start working on it yourself, be building it yourself, and maybe make some changes going into the YCS in Philadelphia so that you can be prepared with the best Bystial Control Deck that you can. There's a lot of great text in this card. Adventure Engine's just insane, as well as the Bystials are actually really cool when you play a control style, and then you pair that with the Applegate Dragon and Ringworm Apple Dragon, and that card is insane to just be able to keep recurring level 2 tuners. Really good in this deck. So without further ado, I'm going to bring you my 5-0 undefeated in testing. That's right, 5-0. Round 1 against Rika Sun Avalon, 2 against the Pearly, 3 against Pearly, 1 against Super Heavy Samurai, Rika Sun Avalon, Pearly, Super Heavy Samurai. 5-0, beat them all, and with that being said, it is the deck profile that you've been waiting for, so please make sure to subscribe to the channel. You can go back and watch previous videos of me dueling with this deck, and I'm also going to post a combo video tomorrow, so please subscribe to the channel and help us get to 3,000 subscribers. It would mean the world to us. Alright, all that being said, let's jump into my Bystial Adventure Control Synchro deck profile.
House of Cards.
TCG.
Alright, starting out, basically we're going to start with the Bystial Engine. The Bystial Engine is really what sets up your inboard, which really what you want to do is get a lot of the branded stuff going, and that's going to help you reoccur a lot of the Bystial stuff. So you do have to play 3 of the Lubellion. Lubellion's obviously really good because you get to send it to the graveyard. It brings itself back. It's a level 8, which is important. And then pairing the level 8, obviously, with level 2s does make a lot of your extra deck monsters. As well as this card allows you to put Branded Beast up going first. And so Branded Beast can actually, because a lot of times you want to send Regain to the graveyard. So Branded Beast allows you to then, at end phase, actually bring back that Regain that you send to the graveyard. Then we have 3 of the Magna. So Magna obviously lets you add a dragon at end phase. This whole deck is packed with dragons, so you can just add any dragon at end phase, and it's a level 6. So obviously the best Bystial next to Lubellion. So you want to max out, play 3, because Lubellion can search Magna, and Magna can search a dragon at end phase. And then one of you want to play Sorinir, Druisworm, and Baldrake. They all have their utility in this deck. Sorinir obviously lets you fill up your graveyard with lights and darks. So you can send Sorinir off of a card like Ravine or Foolish, and then you could go ahead and send Lubellion after that, so it gets an extra dark into the graveyard to give him Sorinir. Or you can send one of your spells and traps to get into the graveyard to bring back off Beast. So there's a lot of utility with Sorinir. And then Baldrake, obviously being able to, when an extra deck monster is summoned, you could banish it by tributing a light or dark. And then Druisworm in itself with Beast is just insane in itself, because Druisworm plus Beast is 2 interruptions, because Beast pops a card, Druisworm then sends a special summon monster. So this is really good that you really just want to play 3 of those. They're all searchable, and based on what you're going up against and what your hand looks like, you're going to decide what you're going to search here. For the spells and traps, you got to play Regained. Regained allows you, when your opponent normal summons or special summons a monster, you can bring back a Bystial from the graveyard. And then if you banish a light or dark monster, then you can put that on the bottom of the deck and draw a card. This is insane. A lot of times you want to send Regain to the graveyard in this deck and have Beast be able to set it back up at the end phase. That's really how you want to play Regain in this deck. Speaking of Beast, Beast is crazy. You get to tribute a Bystial monster, pops a card on the field, and then at end phase you can reset a branded spell or trap. And then the new card, which I like to call it a 2-day. I'm not sure really what the name is. Branded a 2-day. This card is broken. I don't know what people have done or tested with a 2-day. This card is insane. So if you control a Bystial, it's a floodgate, because any card that is tributed or used as a material for a link summon or a synchro summon or any of that is banished instead. So it's a floodgate in itself. Just having a Bystial and having this card flipped up, it actually has your monsters all banished. So if you're playing against a card like Rika Sun Avalon, if you flip this, every time they link, that material is now banished. Really puts an impact on decks that don't like to be banished, obviously. So a 2-day, already insane for that. And then what it does is it allows you to, so you can synchro summon on your opponent's turn, And that in itself, you just have to use a dragon. There's so many options in the extra deck, which I'm going to go into detail with you, especially in the combo tutorial that I'm going to be dropping tomorrow. I'm going to show you in detail how you have different options in your extra deck to be able to use a 2-day to your advantage on your opponent's turn to provide more interruptions. And that's why this deck is so good, because even if they dark roller your board, you have so much back row interaction with them, you're still going to apply so much pressure that your opponent's going to have a hard time dealing with your deck. The goal is at the end phase, have all 3 of these set up on your field. So you're able to activate Branded Beast with Lubellion. Then you can send Regain with many different options in this deck. Branded Beast will then activate the Regain at the end phase. And then you have Albion in the extra deck, which I'm going to show you in the combos how you're able to summon Albion, which is going to set a 2-day. All that happens, so at end phase, you have all 3 of these set up when you go first, along with a Seal, along with a Barone, along with a Bystial Despotter. So much that you can do with this deck going first. It's actually hard because your opponent has to deal with your front row as well as your back row, and it's a lot for them because they don't know exactly what to side. For a 1-of, I play Albion the Shrouded Dragon. This is an upstart as well as has an application. Many ways. 2 ways is we play Grangoyle. So Grangoyle a lot of times is going to send your Lubellion. However, if you already have Lubellion access, you can also send a card like Albion. Albion can then foolish your Regained, and then you just put it at the bottom deck. That's literally the whole point of this card. If you draw it in your hand, it's great because then you can just send Regain, put it at the bottom of the deck, and draw a card. Or you have cards like Ravine or Grangoyle, which can send the Albion, and then you could send the Regain, put it at the bottom of the deck. Really, again, that is the application to set up all 3 of those spells and traps at the end phase, and Albion allows you to facilitate that. Getting into the Adventure Engine. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail on this because a lot of people know what it is, but we're going to just max out on the 3 Enchantress, 3 Rite of Aramis here. Here's what I'm going to say about Rites. Rites are also really good, and Enchantress are really good because you play a card in the extra deck, which is Artemis. So a lot of times you can special or normal summon the Enchantress, link it off for the Artemis, which gets you a light monster on the field to go into your Albion. You need a light monster to actually fusion summon to make Albion, and Enchantress is a way to allow you to do that. So it's Enchantress is actually in this deck kind of like a normal summon. You can normal summon Enchantress, link it off for the Artemis. Enchantress can then search your Rite, you activate Rite, and if you have the Apple Dragon, you can go ahead and special summon it because you control a non-effect monster. So that's how a lot of times this deck will play. As well as you want a level 4 access in this deck to make Muddy Mud Dragon, which Muddy Mud Dragon is your replacement of Fallen of Albaz. That's how you make Albion with that. So Muddy Mud Dragon plus a light monster makes Albion. So obviously your level 2 dragon, Apple Dragon, with a level 4, which could be right, is how you're going to go into your Muddy Mud Dragon. Then of course, we do have the Griffin, the Faithful, and the Draco back. So maxing out on the Adventure Engine here. And then the heart and soul of this deck, which is the, let me just, Ringo Worm, the 100 Apple Dragon. This card is insane. Not only is it a light monster, but you can special summon if you control a non-effect monster. It's a level 2 tuner, which allows you to go into a lot of things. And then if you synchro summon on this turn, you can banish this from the graveyard, special summon a token, light token, level 2, which is a worm. But if you're using it as a synchro summon, it can be treated as a tuner, which is really insane in this deck. So it doesn't even have to be used as a tuner, but it can be used as a tuner. And then also with this card, that token is a light. So sometimes if your hands are awkward, you can actually synchro summon for Muddy Mud Dragon, and then you could banish this, bring out the token, which is a light. Muddy Mud Dragon plus the token makes Albion, and that's another way to facilitate that light monster on the field. So this card, you really want to get access to this card. It's really important. I know that a lot of people are playing the other level 2s like the Assault, the Synchron, and the ninja looking guy, but I really just like having this card. I just want to get to this guy, and the rest of it is Bystial Control, which makes the deck go down to 45 rather than playing that 60 card pile. I play 1 Safer. The reason why is because a lot of times your Apple Dragon or your Enchantress is your normal summon, but Safer is still really good to open up or to bring out with your Seal, and I'm going to show you why because of the extra deck. So you really want, you can play 1, and also I do play Legionnaire because Legionnaire is still insane to search off Magma on your opponent's turn to have for your follow-up turn, and so having Safer access still with Ravine or things like Foolish Burial, really good. So I do play 1 Safer, and I do think that's important in the deck. I play 1 Destrudo. Destrudo is really important in this card. It can also be sent off of the Grangoyle, or it can be sent off of Dragon Ravine. Destrudo comes up so much, and actually Destrudo is really important for another card in the extra deck, which I'm going to show you, which Destrudo, you have to play in this deck. I love seeing Destrudo. I don't even mind opening it because then I could Chaos Space pitch it or discard it off of the Faithful Adventurer. Destrudo is broken in this deck. It's really good. You can make it any level. You can make it a level 2, 3, 4, 5, and even a level 6 in this deck. So Destrudo, really good. Gives you a lot of application to do many different things. We do play 3 Chaos Space with the baby dragons. You guys know what those do. 1 Levianair, because sometimes you just want to search Levianair off of a magma search at the end phase of your opponent's turn, and then you start the next turn with a Chaos Dragon Levianair, and your opponent just has to respond to it. So Levianair is just important. You just want to be able to search it. I found that the Armageddon Dragon is a little bit of a brick, and it didn't come up as much as I would like it to have come up. So I actually cut that from the deck. I have it. I just cut it because I didn't like the way that it felt in the deck. It really didn't. Even though it's a strong card, you really don't need it in this deck. Play 1 Dragon Ravine, 1 Foolish Burial, because these cards send your dragons that you need to grab, or different cards that you may need to facilitate. So many things do things in this deck in the graveyard, so having these both be able to send, even Foolish to send an Enchantress, really good. And then for the hand traps lineup, I played 3 Gamma. I loved having Gamma in the deck. I'm definitely going to keep it in. I played 3 Ogre because it's a light. It's also a level 3, which can make different cards in this extra deck. I liked having Ogre. Then the other 2 cards I played were Talents. So really, I only played 8 extra, spots in this deck. These were all really good. I just wish I would have fit Droll in the main deck. I think that Droll is very necessary in the main deck because when Super Heavy pops off, they pop off. So that is the main deck. It is 45 cards. Really good deck. Really awesome deck. I thoroughly enjoyed playing it. And even if you have weird hands, it doesn't brick just because there's just Bystial Control in itself is still so powerful. Extra deck, we play 1 Artemis. You're going to link off the Enchantress for it. Provides you for the light to make Albion. I played Striker Dragon. I don't know. You can play Pisty. The reason why I didn't play Pisty and I just played Striker Dragon instead is because I didn't want to be Dragon Locked, because obviously you have a lot of different cards in this deck and not all of them are dragons. So I decided just to play Striker Dragon instead of Pisty. Plus it has the left arrow. Just, I don't know. It just, if it ever came up, it's just there. So I played Striker over Pisty. Link 2s, I played Heretic Seal. Card's broken. It literally says summon any card in the deck that's a dragon, obviously, and then it bounces. So you can do the Magma, which can search you at the end phase. You can bring out Druid's Worm. You can bring out the Apple Dragon, which then if you sync her, you can, reoccur it from the graveyard. Bring out Seyfried. So many cards that you can bring out with Seal. Obviously, Romulus. Fun fact about Romulus is Romulus says Dragon or Winged Beast, and Griffin is actually a Winged Beast. So if you use your token to go into the Mud Dragon, because you need the level 4, so you go level 4 token and Apple Dragon to make Mud Dragon, you can actually use the leftover Griffin to then go into a Romulus, because Romulus has Winged Beast also. I did play 1 Unicorn. I'm going to keep that in the deck. Unicorn, I think, is still really good, but in the tournament, I played Access Code. Unicorn and Access Code never came up in all 5 matches that I played. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to replace Access Code, and I'm going to go ahead and put in the XL Stardust Dragon. Again, I played Access Code in the tourney. I made the decision that XL Stardust Dragon came up a lot more than what the Access Code did. So for Synchros, we play the Mud Dragon. We play Savage. Savage you can actually make on your opponent's turn. How you do that is you can summon a Bystial, whether it be Druid's Worm, or you can bring out Magma off Seal. And then, off Seal, you want to bring out the Apple Dragon. You have a Bystial on the field. You're at 2-day, then activates, and you can actually bring out Savage. Now, the reason why that's important is because if you have your board and with a Bystial on the field, right? Your opponent Dark Rulers you, goes into battle phase. Well, then you could just activate Seal in battle phase, bounce a Dragon Ravine or something that's face up one of your branded spells or traps that are on the field. Then you can bring out the Apple Dragon, chain a 2-day. A 2-day will then make your Savage, so they're in battle phase. After they Dark Rulered you, they go to drop evenly. Now you have a Savage to negate that so you don't lose your board. They've already wasted their battle phase. You're just going to have everything back on the following turn. So that's a way to beat Dark Ruler evenly. And then again, I'm going to like I said, I'm going to put the XL Stardust Dragon because being able to bring back Apple Dragon to go into more plays and set up a Brone early is really important. So I am going to add that to the deck. Chaos Angel is another card that you can bring out on your opponent's turn with a 2-day. So what you do with Chaos Dragon, or Chaos Angel, I mean, is you have a Bystial out on the field, right? So you have a Magma or a Druis Worm. Let's just say Druis Worm, for example. You can seal bounce, then you can bring out Safard. Chaos Angel, when it's summoned, allows you to banish a card on the field, so it's an interruption, as well as it says if you use a light and a dark, as long as you have a light and a dark on there, they don't need to be a tuner. You can make this without a tuner as long as you use a light and a dark and or a dark, right? So if you bring out Safard and Druis Worm, you can, a 2-day, bring out Chaos Angel using those two. Chainlink 1, Chaos Angel, banish a card on the field. Chainlink 2, Druis Worm to send another card that's special summon on the field. Insane interruption, as well as you used a light and a dark, so it gets both effects, which are inherited, which means that none of your cards can be destroyed by battle, and they are unaffected by monster effects. Really insane. So Chaos Angel and Savage you bring out on your opponent's turn. Really, really good there. Another card is the Bystial Despotter. That card, when it's summoned, you can target a light or dark monster in either graveyard, special summon it to your field. And then when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can shuffle a card from your banished, just this card, from your banished and pop it, or your opponent's banished, and then you can negate it. Now with a 2-day, again, they're going to be banishing cards. So it's really insane. So your inboards typically Seal, Baron, Bystial Despotter, and then all 3 of your regain branded spells and traps is really the inboard that you're going for. And it's really insane and impossible to kind of beat. We do play Barone. And then the spice that I have that came up in both my matches against Pearly, which is why I put this card in the extra deck, is Psychic and Punisher. Now you're probably wondering, how do you make Psychic and Punisher? There's many ways. If you have a level 4 on the field, Destrudo can become a level 3. Level 3 Destrudo with a Albion, with a Grangoyle, with a Bystial Lubellion, makes Psychic and Punisher very easily. Or if you have a Bystial, you can actually then target a level 2, which is your Worm token, or you can target your Apple Dragon, make the Destrudo level 5, take a Bystial, Magma, Destrudo, whatever, with the Destrudo, and then that makes the Psychic and Punisher. So it's actually really easy to make Psychic and Punisher in this deck. That's just one of 2 ways that I made it with a Driver, and then, so I brought out Gamma and Driver. I Destrudo targeted the Gamma, made it a level 5, and I used the level 5 Destrudo with the Driver and made Psychic and Punisher. Like, there's so many ways to actually make Psychic and Punisher, and Pearly can't get over this card. So you actually win against Pearly by summoning Psychic and Punisher. And then I do play the Attuned. So 2 level 6 Bystials make a Tomb. So if you have the level 4 plus 2 Bystials, or you have the right package, so the token with 2 Bystials, you can just make a Tomb, bring out the Apple Dragon, full combo from there. So it's just another way to full combo. And then for your 2 fusions, you play Grangoyle and Albion. So that is the extra deck. And I know this video is carrying on, but I'm trying to go into detail for you guys so you know what to play. Going to the side deck, I played the Harpy with a Cosmic. That was fine. I played 3 of the Radiant just because it's a dark and it's a Kaiju against Pearly, against other things. Obviously, that's why I wanted to play it. I decided to play Droplet. In hindsight, this should have been Dark Ruler No More. Super Heavy Samurai is too hard to beat, and we don't send enough cards. So this should be Dark Ruler for Super Heavy Samurai because their board is really hard to beat. So you want to set up your Bystial Control after you Dark Ruler, so this should have been Dark Ruler. Anti-Spell, because that beats Pearly and Super Heavy Samurai, so this card's really good. You flip it, and then they either can out it or they don't. And then I sided 3 Droll and Lockbird. Again, I would like to see that in the main deck. So that was pretty much the deck. I'm going to do a combo video for this tomorrow, so you guys can stay tuned for that. Make sure to subscribe so you can stay tuned for that. I posted some live duels where you can check out any of our live duels. Go to the playlist tab, check out live duels. You can see my past duels with this in that tournament that I said, and I have more future live duels with this deck coming out in the future. So with all that being said, this is before Cyberstorm Access comes out. You guys get to check out this deck prior to. I hope you enjoyed it. Any feedback, comments, let me know below. Again, I didn't like the 60 card pile. This is 45. Played so much better, just way more consistent. Really, really, really good deck. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This has been Tyler with House of Cards TCG, signing out.
House of Cards TCG.